Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we are looking at some Grozovoi gameplay. Now this Grozovoi is a pretty interesting ship. It's actually one of my more favorite tier 10 ships because of its kind of versatility. Now in this replay I'm going to be actually featuring a slightly different build than that I'm running currently, and that's okay because hopefully maybe I can get another Grozovoi replay that kind of showcases the other side of this ship. So in this current form I've got a more AA heavy setup and I guess more HP as well, so I don't run Superintendent in this, and I choose to use something like the HP perk. And of course I've got AFT and then manual AA, and then I'm thinking also I have BFT as well, and maybe torpedo reload. But based on how much longer I have left, I don't know about that. But and then of course Last Stand, and I think Adrenaline Rush as well. So a more AA heavy setup. And then of course with my modules, it's again more AA heavy. I still do have concealment, but I do, instead of a gun reload, main battery mod 3, I actually choose AA guns. And this, I have a feeling, since it's been a while since I've played the Grozovoi, I have a feeling that this was more for a competitive aspect of that I was planning to play the ship. So, but now I'm going to be showcasing, or hopefully soon I'll be showcasing a more well-rounded build with this Grozovoi. But of course, even without shooting down or popping my defensive fire, I thought I was shooting down some of those planes. I guess the Fletcher also has some manual AA going, rocking that, but didn't get any early plane kills there, unfortunately, even though that's sort of the Grozovoi's specialty, is it's good AA for being a destroyer. And of course, now that the defensive fire for destroyers, US and Soviet, they get a 4 times bonus instead of a 3 times bonus for their AA effectiveness, it's all the more potent. Now, at the end of the day, the Grozovoi isn't the biggest torpedo boat. It's only got 10-kilometer torpedoes, but it does have good guns, and it's basically a 6-gunned Khabarovsk, I guess is the best way to put it. Instead of 8 guns, it's a 6-gunned Khabarovsk. It has great AP, just like the Khabarovsk. It also has insane fire starting potential, like the Grozovoi, or like the Khabarovsk. But of course, it doesn't have the best DPM. That's kind of where the ship is. You know, obviously not. It's a little bit different, but it's also just a completely different playstyle. Also, now there, I probably should have smoked up. Honestly, I've got some very nice torpedoes, and had I been maybe 2 or 3 kilometers closer, I probably could have been able to farm these guys. But I think I ended up deciding to turn out because that Moskva was there, so smoking up kind of wasn't an option. But I'm gonna do it now. Hopefully, I can farm this Bismarck a little bit more. Looks like he is flooding and burning, so he's pretty much dead. So I guess a bit of a waste of a smoke there, but I do get first blood out of that encounter. Unfortunately, that Moskva isn't spotted yet, and even though he is now, 10 seconds later, he's actually out of my range. And here I'm going to pop my defensive fire, start melting these planes, and you can just see they're absolutely getting destroyed for, and then someone else shot down the 5th plane. Now, coincidentally, I was actually using this for a more selfish smoke, but it actually is looking to be a pretty effective team smoke, and Putin is burning. But of course, he's probably just waiting. You know, he's only on 26,000 health. He can hit that anti-death button real quick, and it looks like he's doing that right now, and he's going to be up at 60k HP pretty quickly here. So Minotaur pops up briefly. I'm going to go contest the cap. Now, one of the things that, and I didn't notice this at the time, that I actually didn't have concealment. This boat can be kind of played 2 different ways. It can be played as a gunboat destroyer, kind of like the Khabarovsk, or it can be played as just a good overall destroyer. I guess you could say a bigger gearing and a more gun-oriented gearing. which is actually quite interesting, because the playstyle of the gearing is, I would say, for the most part, more torpedo boat focused, whereas this boat is more gun oriented, and that kind of leads it leads to some interesting gameplay. So you're going to be shooting your guns a lot more, but since you are a bigger target, you do have to be careful of your HP and getting penned by battleships. And of course, if you play the gearing a lot, you know battleship AP pens are quite disgusting. And so, you know, playing a gunboat that it's not the most maneuverable, and it's also not the most. I mean, it is fast, but it just doesn't move as well as I guess I want it to. It does lend the gameplay to some somewhat dangerous encounters from time to time. So, but that's kind of all part of the risk versus reward factor that this ship has. It is incredibly, you know, rewardful and very profitable if you do get into a good matchup and you get a good position and a good flanking, but other times you can get into these situations where, kind of like right now, I'm kind of, it's still early in the game. There's only been about 6 minutes, but I'm on half HP. I've only got 100k, which isn't the best, but you know, certainly I'm at half HP. I did trade for 100k, but it was against a tier 8 battleship, so again, it wasn't the most like profitable, and like a tier 10 destroyer should never be losing a lot of its HP to a battleship, especially a lower tier battleship. Now, granted, it is at the end of the day a battleship, but it's something you guys like have to think about, and again, kind of this risk versus reward factor. Now here I am going to get on B here, and I'm going to purposely go into the island because the Minotaur was last spotted headed my way into B, and I don't want to go around this corner or even get hydroed by him either on purpose or on accident. I don't even want to deal with that, so I'm going to stay a little bit farther back, and yeah, we'll just kind of wait it out here, get this cap. So now my current, I'll kind of briefly go over my current build on the Grozovoi. It's again more, in my opinion, it's probably a better build overall for the Grozovoi. It has obviously concealment and then superintendent as well, instead of the, you know, going so heavy on the AA perks. So, but I don't remember. I don't quite remember if I have either, if I've got survivability expert. I might have swapped just superintendent and then went concealment AFT and then manual AA. And of course, I think the Grozovoi is, you really benefit from manual AA, just because one, your defensive fire is ridiculous for a destroyer, and also, well, you know, you've got really good long range AA DPS. I think it's upwards of 70 DPS with my setup, so it's quite potent. So I'm wishing these guys would be spotted here, but we'll kind of showcase some of this AP usage right on that upper main belt, 2600 there. Got 2 breaks, and there a couple more breaks and overpens. I need to aim a little bit higher, actually get more on that main belt, and there we go, another 2600. I've seen as high as, you know, 4 grand. Like there was 30, almost 37. I've seen pretty high numbers, and you know, this Missouri is radaring me, but I'm not angling enough, and oof, a nice devastating strike. And I need to get outside of this Minotaur's last spotted range because he is pelting me, and I get another Citadel on him, aiming a little bit too low on this Minotaur, but I am getting 3 Citadels, and actually he's gonna turn in. And interestingly enough, I thought he already used his hydro, but it looks like he will actually be turning around and actually will hydro me. So a bit unfortunate there. But again, kind of had I used my smokes a little bit better in the earlier game, I think this could have been I could have actually survived here. And of course here I'm going to actually misplay a bit, which I guess is a bit uncharacteristic. I need to not do this, go out, pan out like this, you know, using the right mouse button so much. I honestly could have killed that that Minotaur there. A bit of a misplay in my opinion. But oddly enough, Puddin with the HE Citadel is going to kill that Minotaur, and we're actually going to go on to win this game. But it was a pretty quick burst game, I would say. It was only 10 minutes long, 188,000 damage, and I probably could have had more had I not had so many misplays, but let's look at the post-battle results. Alright, so guys, looking at the post-battle results, we ended up with 500,000 credits, 13k XP, 3k free XP, Devastating Strike, First Blood, and High Caliber. Like I said, 189,000 damage, only 99 shell hits, oddly enough, 9 torpedo hits, so that's where most of our damage came from, and 4 planes shot down. I probably would have expected a little bit more, considering my AA heavy setup, and that's part of the reason why I've kind of gone away from the AA heavy setup, is just because the lack of carriers. Now I was fortunate enough to be paired up with Puddin and 3FM, who 3FM was in his midway, so you know I was more fortunate in that aspect that I could force a carrier. But you know, seeing that the Grozovoi, you know, you don't see a lot of carriers at tier 10. I've kind of gone away from that full AA build, but I did end up getting 2 kills and 10 citadels as well, which is also kind of funny. And assisted base capture as well. Now, you can kind of get more, you can test more caps with concealment, and that's something I would actually recommend. So this is actually not a build I would recommend, but nonetheless, it is what it is. So team score wise, we're looking at 2186 base XP, 4 planes, 2 kills, like I said before. Midway, 3FM, he got 2 kills, 3 planes shot down, and actually Conqueror, Puddin also managed to get 2 kills, so got a triple. Well, what do they call it in poker? Not a pair, but a triple or something. They call it something triple. It's been so long since I played poker, I need to play that again. But either way, it's some pretty nice base XPs across the board there, and the damage distribution: 90,000 torpedoes, 38 from Fire and Flood, which is not too bad, and then 60,000 from main battery. And you notice that when I was shooting at battleships, and they were a good amount of broadside to me, I was just constantly hitting them with AP, because the amount of damage you get from an AP shell on those broadside battleships is honestly insane. And it's one of those things that like you saw earlier in the Bismarck, I was shooting HE because he was flooding, and I wanted to get another fire, and you know, because maybe even if he wasn't flooding, and I made him use his damage control, I was still trying to get him to burn again and get his HP lower and lower. So that's kind of why I used it in that situation. But with that Missouri, I wanted to get as much DPM as possible, especially because I had my torpedoes on the way, and they looked like they were just completely gonna obliterate them, like they did.